Let me introduce to you Mary Johnson here on my left, and let me tell you about Mary Johnson. Okay, Mary Johnson is from Dundalk, Catholic, went to school at St. Vincent's Mercy Convent on Dundalk. She came first in the town in the Leaving Cert, and first in Ireland in Italian in the Leaving Cert. She went to Trinity, got a degree in Russian and French. She then went to study marketing at night in the College of Commerce in Rathmines, did the 4-year course in 2 years. She's an inter-pro squash player for Leinster and also has coaching qualifications. She plays guitar and sings and has her own business here in Dublin. She runs a sports shop. And just over 2 years ago, she was introduced to Scientology, the Church of Scientology, by a friend called Tom. And Mary, let me just summarize the bare skeleton of what I know about you. You were introduced by Tom. The idea was that Scientology offered you a chance to further your career, your self-fulfillment, your freedom and control over your own life if you took a course, which you did, and you paid for it. And whether you succeeded in that or not, the idea was that you go to do a second course and you pay for that, and so on to a third course and you pay for that. And you found yourself being drawn into this organization, and you began to get worried about it and concerned about your place in it. And then your family brought pressure to bear upon you, or influence at least to bear upon you, to get out. And because of the concern and efforts on their part and on the parts of your friends, you eventually declutched with some difficulty. Is that a fair sort of summary in broad outline?
Yes, in broad outline. Yes.
Why are you frightened to be here tonight?
I'm frightened to be here, Gay, because I'm intimidated by the people who are here from the Church of Scientology. The first point I would like to make is that the reason I'm here is because I'm the only Irish person who is an ex-member of the Church of Scientology who is prepared to speak out. Ex-members don't speak out. That's the first point. The second point is it's interesting that the Church of Scientology has seen fit to fly in 2 people from England today for this show when I'm Irish. We're dealing with the Church of Scientology in Ireland. Are they not happy to have their own members here speak?
You got out relatively easily, did you not?
I did, because my family worked very quickly and very thoroughly to get information on the Church of Scientology, and but for that intervention I wouldn't be here today.
Was there pressure brought to bear upon you when you were getting out, or at any time while you were in, when you first began to voice your reservations?
From whom? From the church?
From the church, yes.
Well, I didn't actually voice my reservations to the church. By the time my family had intervened, I had made a commitment to the church that I was going to give up my business and move to England and work for the church for 1 billion years. Because at that stage I believed in reincarnation, which I don't believe in.
1 billion years?
Yeah, just 1 billion years.
And they had got their influence had got you to the point of almost selling up your business, is that so? Yes.
It was, their suggestion was that I would be more fulfilled in Scientology and would it not be a good idea if I sold my business.
Okay. So you're frightened to be here tonight. When you finally decided to leave, was there pressure and intimidation brought to bear?
When I left Scientology, the following week I had about 20 phone calls from people in Scientology to find out why I hadn't come back and reported on the intervention with my family, because I was drilled how to deal with my family by members of the church.
You were told what to say to your family?
I would have a member of the Church of Scientology role-playing my mother or my sister or my brother-in-law, and I would answer them defending the Church of Scientology.
And you did pretty good at that?
I was a good student, I believe.
Yes. And eventually then you got these phone calls. Were they threatening phone calls, intimidating phone calls, bullying?
Not at that stage, but the problem with them was that they were to my business, they were to my home, they were invasive. I found them very much invading my privacy. The intimidation, the reason why I feel intimidation is because I am frightened because the Church of Scientology in the past has revealed personal details given by people like me in confidence to them during counselling sessions, and that's why I'm frightened. Because they have used details given in confidence to silence their critics.
Okay. Now, PJ Phelan is beside you. Good evening to you, PJ. And he is from Clonmel, County Tipperary. And his brother Tony, who is now aged what?
34.
34. He's been in for about 6 going on 7 years.
That's correct, yes.
He was recruited in Silicon Valley in California when he was working there, and you were extremely disturbed. Amongst the things you say in your statement about your brother Tony is, in the beginning we were unaware of what we now view as the sinister nature of the organization, but we did notice many changes in our brother's outlook and personality, as well as an adverse effect on his relationship with us. This led us into investigating Scientology as a philosophy and organization. In our opinion, Tony's membership of the organization is not voluntary. We believe it's a result of coercive and destructive pseudo-scientific processes based on deception, dependency and fear. Further, the organization, we believe, is exerting mind control techniques on our brother to the extent of influencing him not to review fully the information we have discovered. That's pretty strong stuff, PJ.
Yes, that would be the opinion of our family at this stage. Basically, our concern came about for several reasons, but my mother died 7 years ago. Tony at the time was in California, came home for the funeral and went back within a few days. Sometime later he did a free personality test, which is one of the major recruiting techniques used by Scientology. In Dublin at the moment, they use it in Middle Abbey Street. There's an offer there, a free personality test. And as far as we're concerned, that's basically a front to get people to come in. They identify weaknesses in their characters. They then offer to help them to sort out the problems they have. In doing so, they'll do a short course, maybe charge them 20 or 30 pounds. Subsequently, they'll tell them, you've done very well in this course, you're extremely good.
What you need is the next.
But you have deeper problems than you realised or we realised, and you're going to have to do further courses. If you don't do them, you're going to be worse off than you are when you come in here to us. And we have been told that within maybe 2 or 3 weeks of contact with Scientology and working with them, that they can totally control the person.
And the price goes up with each series of lectures, is that
Well,
it?
we don't know exactly how much money Tony has spent on it. One of his friends, who was very concerned about Tony, wrote to us in 91. And at that stage he estimated that Tony would have spent something in the region of £30,000 on Scientology courses.
How much did you spend, Mary, on altogether in the years you were there?
Well, I was one of the lucky ones, Gay. I only spent £2,000.
In the 2 years?
Yes, but I'm very lucky.
What do you mean lucky? That you hadn't got the money to
I'm
spend?
lucky because I have a business and I was very much aware that I didn't have disposable income to spend, but they pressured me. They pressured me an awful lot. If I'd had £100,000, I would have spent it. It's my opinion.
Well, Peter Mansell is public relations spokesperson for Scientology in the UK, and Gerard Ryan is spokesperson for the church here in Ireland. What's your reaction to that, Peter, to what you've heard? Nothing that you
first
haven't
of all,
heard
I think probably a lot of people here in the audience don't really know what Scientology is. We're talking about a subject that isn't very clear, and the things that Mary and PJ are saying, they're kind of alarming, and I can imagine a lot of people are right now feeling alarmed, like, what is this Church of Scientology? Just to give like a real simple history of the church, it's just celebrated its 40th anniversary. There are churches in 113 countries around the world. There are 8 million members. And one of the things you have to look at, the kind of allegations that Mary and PJ are saying, they're not new. I mean, anybody here that reads a newspaper has kind of read this kind of thing before. One of the things that's the most significant thing, I think, at the beginning to look at is all of this kind of allegation comes from a particular source. It's not just, this isn't just, PJ got his information from somewhere. And we all know where he got it from. He got it from a woman called Bonnie Wood. She's an American evangelical Christian, and her life's purpose is steering people away from other religions and into hers. That is the source of PJ's information.
Is it, PJ?
Absolutely.
It's not actually, because the first problem that the family had is...
How much information have you got from
Peter, I'd like to reply.
Tell Gay how much information you got from Bonnie Woods.
I'd like to reply. Now, basically, the first problem we had in relation to this Scientology was trying to decide what is a serious problem or not. We took a very analytical approach to it. We read numerous sources of material, and we actually came to a stage where my brother John and I actually came up with conflicting information. And as such, we actually sat back with 2 different suggested strategies to approach Scientology. We actually stopped totally conflicting suggestions, but both people we spoke to at the time were very concerned about Scientology. We actually stopped and we sat back And we said we'd wait to see would Tony come to his senses.
So is Tony here?